Dave, how much are you down right now and today? 7 million. I'm down $7 million in stocks and crypto.
I wish I were joking, but the stock market continues to hit new lows even halfway through the trading day. The S&P 500, for example, is down 8% today. And again, we're only halfway through the trading day, and this is off the back of yesterday when most stocks went down about 4 to 5%. Now, I want to break down Ben Shapiro's show from today. A lot of people don't like when I play clips of him, but he's kind of been shredding Trump lately. Not even kind of. He's been saying this is incoherent, the markets are getting crushed, and he's been giving decent analysis of why tariffs are absolutely terrible economic policy when enforced in this manner. Now let's break this down in 1 second, but first, let's go to the brain rot that is Fox News. Because Fox News is honestly mirroring North Korean propaganda levels at this point. Check out this clip.
Manufacturing industries fled their communities, opposes what Trump is doing. He went on in a different tweet to say, those who are screeching the loudest are those who have been wrong. And it occurred to me, Tommy, remember when Donald Trump was a Russian operative? I do. That's what the media told us. Remember when the Hunter Biden laptop was misinformation? I do. Remember when Donald Trump could never win an election, nevertheless a primary? I remember that. And remember when COVID could have never originated in a lab? All those voices are the same ones telling us this will be a disaster. Now, that doesn't mean this is all going to work out, but I'm willing to bet against those voices.
She just tried to compare Hunter Biden's laptop to Trump's insane tariff policies. Now, here are some facts, if you want some facts and not speculation. This policy has been tried multiple times before. You know, it's been tried 100 years ago, roughly, about 200 years ago. Every single time it ends in a recession. And Republican politicians have been calling this out. Even Ben Shapiro has been calling this out. Now, I promise I won't play him for too long, but it is interesting to hear one of the top MAGA voices basically come down hard.
Yesterday, of course, was a horrifying day in the stock market. And people who are attempting to play this game where they say, well, you know, the stock market taking a massive dump, that's okay. I mean, that doesn't affect 50% of Americans have stocks, okay, because they have 401ks. There's no
50% of Americans have 401ks or own stocks in some capacity. That is a true statistic. And I had a debate 2 nights ago with a Trump supporter, and he was saying, oh, only the elites are going to care if their stock or their portfolios are down. What about the American worker? First of all, the American worker likes to buy cheap goods as well, so don't get it twisted. But also, like, half of Americans are invested in the stock market in some way, and the stock market falling doesn't mean we're in a recession. I know that there are many indicators to take into account, mainly the GDP when talking about a recession, but the stock market falling does have scary implications. This is what I've been saying, and Ben Shapiro says something similar.
Notion that Main Street is totally disconnected from Wall Street, that it's just a few people at the top of the food chain who are playing with the money, that is not actually true in any way, shape, or form. And obviously the stock market, as a sort of gauge of investor confidence, makes a large-scale difference in availability of liquidity for startups and being able to raise money to, for example, hire new people. If the stock market tanks by half, that's a pretty good indicator, for example, that bad things are happening. And if the stock market continues to gain steadily, that's an indicator that maybe some good things are happening.
That is what I've been saying. When Biden handed off the economy to Trump, it was perfect. Not perfect. I'm not going to say perfect, but the stock market was hitting all-time highs. We stuck the soft landing. Unemployment was at the perfect level. Our relationships with allies were strengthening. I'm not going to say it was perfect. I shouldn't have said that, but the Biden economy was pretty damn strong by all indicators. So, I mean, let's continue to listen.
And this isn't too tough. It's not too sophisticated. Doesn't mean that every time there's a little bit of a sell-off, it's the end of the world. And it doesn't mean that every time there's a run-up, that means that amazing things are in the brewing. What it does mean is that ignoring data is not, in fact, a good form of analysis. The stock market does provide data, and in fact, we have lots of it. Investors have been shaken by President Trump's tariff regime. They're not sure what to expect. They're not sure what comes next. There are a lot of conflicting messages coming out of the White House. So yesterday, the U.S. market suffered its steepest decline since 2020 on fears that President Trump's new tariff plans would trigger a global trade war and drag the United States economy into a recession, according to the Wall Street Journal. Major stock indices dropped as much as 6% on Thursday. Stocks lost roughly $3.1 trillion in market value. That is their largest one-day decline since March 2020. And of course, March 2020 was COVID. And this is not being inflicted by an external shock, like, for example, COVID. This is being inflicted by a deliberate choice by the Trump administration. A little while.
This is Ben Shapiro just shredding into Trump. I'm sorry, but a lot of people say in my comments, Adam, I get so frustrated when you play clips from one of the worst people ever, and I agree. I get it. We disagree with him on 99% of things, but I just want to let you into my strategy really quickly. When prominent right-wing MAGA voices criticize Trump, that's a crack in the MAGA wall, and we should highlight that. We should hit that crack and try to widen it. It's the same tactic that the right uses against us. They love to amplify any sort of division within the Democratic coalition, whether it's Bernie Sanders' wing fighting with the center-left wing. They pit moderates against progressives and exploit it. So when the MAGA movement, and let's be honest, it's a cult. It is absolutely a cult. When the MAGA cult begins to show signs of dissent, we can boost those voices. And if it takes someone like Ben Shapiro to criticize Trump to win over voices, then so be it. My last Ben Shapiro video got about 700,000 views, and a lot of conservatives were commenting and agreeing with the analysis. So it's not that I'm giving Ben Shapiro a platform. He has like 12 times more followers than me. But right now, he is our platform, and I'm using it to our advantage. But
I'm going to try and steelman the Trump administration's position. Now, what's sort of the best case scenario for the thing that they are shooting for with these tariffs? The market this morning, again, opened down very steeply. Investors obviously are not sanguine about the situation. There was a good jobs report that came out for March. The employment report came out at 228,000 jobs added in March, which was more.
But the thing is, the employment report, number one, kind of disproves Trump's idea that American workers are suffering and being taken advantage of. It was decently healthy, and despite the decently healthy unemployment report, the stock market still completely crashed. But over at the conservative subreddit, really quickly, it is an absolute feast. Senator Rand Paul said, "Terminate the tariffs before it's too late." And all the conservatives on the Reddit said, he's right. This move is not going to make life better for the middle class, only harder. Forcing a recession is going to hurt us all. Someone said, when Rand and a Republican strongly disagree, Rand has been right in most cases, and the entire thread seems to be conservatives just disagreeing with the Trump administration. Again, highlight the cracks.
More than forecast. Of course, that is a backward-looking report, so it didn't have a massive impact on the markets today because people are saying, well, yeah, I mean, the economy was doing fine, and then Donald Trump decided to take a giant stick and stick it right in the bicycle spokes. That is what the market is saying. Right.
Literally, thank you, Ben Shapiro. That is what it's saying. Let's go over to the market and let's see what it says. Yeah, it's still kind of hitting all-time lows. And I will say, I can't give any financial advice, but don't panic. Do not panic. The American economy is resilient. I know that in the short term, it seems grim. But from all of the advice I've ever read, if you trust anything that I say, if you trust my opinion at all, I would say, in my opinion, what I do when the markets are down is I try to keep a steady hand and I don't panic sell. I just don't think that that's a good thing to do. Again, I can't give advice though.
Right now. Now again, that data came as a bit of a surprise because economists were expecting it to be a little bit slower. This came amid a federal jobs decline. So normally this would be like a point of giant celebration for the Trump administration. Jobs increase, federal jobs go down. But the problem, of course, is that policy just radically changed. So
Yeah, policy radically changed. And even Dave Portnoy, the owner of Barstool Sports, said he lost $7 million in the stock market from tariffs.
I almost tweeted out, Dave, how much are you down right now and today? 7 million. I'm down 7 million bucks in stocks and crypto. And it's tariff city. Trump has put his tariffs all over the place. I've been trying to understand them. I don't. Like, it's more a trade deficit tariff to me. Like, hey, we get this much shit from you and you get this much from us. Let's even that up. Let's get some wacky formula and do tariffs. And everything's in the shitter because of it.
He seems stressed the hell out. I'm sorry, but he's right. Trump's trade deficit formula not only misunderstands what a trade deficit is, it's not inherently bad, but the formula itself is just bunk. There are reports that it was taken from ChatGPT, but either way, the formula is incoherent and is going to lead to an even worse outcome. But yeah, even Dave Portnoy, a MAGA bro, is stressed out. So we'll see what happens. If there are any cracks in the MAGA armor, if we're ever going to see cracks in the cult, it is now. Let's keep talking about it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Love you and peace out.